Hello everyone, this is me Himani Singh, your faculty for CUET MSW examination, and in today's class, under your social concepts, we'll be covering social stratification. Right? Social stratification is a very important topic for your examination point of view, and it has also been asked in your PYQs also. So here, with on that note, let's just cover social stratification, right? But before we start social stratification, of course, we'll be covering. So I'll just tell you what all we'll be covering in today's class. Of course, we'll be covering social inequality because there is from like this is where from social stratification comes from. Okay. And you'll, of course, if you have a good understanding of social inequality, then only you'll be able to understand what social stratification means. We'll also try to understand and also try to, of course, see when and how it occurs. And at the same time, some definition of it that has been given to you people. And of course, we'll try to see the types of it. Okay. Major types of social stratification over here. And rest, of course, it would be followed with some important questions as well. Okay. All right. With this, let's just begin today's class. All right, student. So here, if you see that, what do you mean by social stratification or social inequality? Whenever you think of social inequality, what does comes to your mind? So here we need to understand that, see, we are covering sociology, right? So of course we'll study it in that manner only. So here, if you see that in all societies, you know, right, that in all societies, people differ from each other. Like we all differ from each other on the basis of either sex, creed, age, or personal characteristics as well. Be it I'm an introvert, you must be an extrovert. I am a girl, you're a boy, right? So anything. So we all differ from each other with some or the other aspect, right? And we all know that human society is not homogeneous, it is heterogeneous, right? And in a country like India, so there is a lot of religion and everything, right? So that makes our community or our country more diversified, and there is heterogeneity of people and their religions as well, right? But apart from these, apart from these natural differences of me being a girl and you being a boy, and me being a introvert and you being an extrovert, or whatever these natural differences, when human beings differentiate according to these socially approved criteria also that they have set for people, or they have set for a particular community or a particular section of people, that is where this social stratification comes into being, right? When people are discriminated on the basis of, when people are differentiated from on the basis of socially approved criteria. See, I am a girl and a girl is sitting next to me, but there is some socially approved criteria for us as well. Maybe I am not allowed to a temple and you are allowed in a temple, right? Even after both of us are girls, or even both of us are even similar looking, both of us are are not allowed in the temple and you are allowed in the temple, right? So these are, apart from these natural differences, also human beings are also differentiated according to the socially approved criteria as well. So here, socially differentiated men are treated as socially unequal from the point of enjoyment of social rewards like status, power, income, and etc. Right? So this, you have to understand that how people are differentiated. Right. So socially differentiated men are treated as socially unequal. From the point of view of here, men have been used for both men and women, right? That's how in sociology it is done, point times to change it. Right. So how socially differentiated men are treated as socially unequal from the point of view of enjoyment of social rewards like status, power, income, etc. So as when I said that there is some socially approved criteria for even us as individuals as well. So that in itself bring with itself more, of course, more deprivation, and it, of course, deprives us from the enjoyment of social reward like status, power, income, etc. Right? So here, what is this entire thing is, what is this sort of we say that two people are differentiated just on the basis of socially approved criteria, or that's how society differentiates between both of them. So this is known as social inequality. This thing is referred to as social inequality. All right. And this term in itself, social inequality, simply refers to the existence of socially created inequalities. Right? What is social inequality? Basically, it is the socially created inequalities. The inequalities that have been created among two people, those who are similar looking, those who are equal to each other, right? In each aspect, but they are discriminated, or but they are treated unequally. there is an existing inequality among them, right? So what is this called? This is called social inequality. Let's just understand more. Let's just take the definition of what social inequality is, okay? So here definition says that individuals in a society that do not have equal social status, these are the people, those who suffer social inequality, right? Those who do not enjoy equal social status suffers from social inequality, right? So what are the examples of social inequality? Let's just take economic one, right? So inequality that is based on distribution of wealth and income. So this is the economic social inequality. Gender, right? For me and my brother. Let's just take the first one, economic one, right? There is a gender parity, this wage differences between me and my counter part, which is another man working, right, in the same organization, in the same place, right? So here there is income inequality, that is the inequality that based on distribution of wealth and income. So differentiated pay and all this, what is this? This is basically your income inequality. The other one is the gender one, right, which is the obvious or hidden inequality of power or reward based on gender. So here you have been treated differently because of your gender, right? So there is gender, this is called gender inequality. The other one is the racial inequality, that there is unequal treatment of you based on your physical characteristics. Right. And the fourth one is the caste-based one. Right. With caste, I have written that ascribed status based on birth. Ascribed is something that is given to you by birth. Okay. For example, caste is an ascribed status. So there are two types of statuses. One is an ascribed one, and the other one is an achieved one. Right. This question might be asked in your examination. So please kindly pay attention to this. And this has been, of course, I have given my JRF examination, and this question have been asked multiple times. So please pay special attention to this. So caste-based social inequality, right? So when you have been discriminated on the basis of caste, when there is inequality on the basis of caste. So what is caste? Caste is basically an ascribed status based on your birth, right? So there are two types of statuses. One is the ascribed status and the other one is the achieved status. So first one, ascribed, basically it is caste. Like for example, caste, you cannot change it, right? You cannot, it is given to you, it is something that is given to you, you are born with it, okay, with birth, right? Just by your birth you are born with it, okay? So caste is an ascribed status. But however, if we talk about class, so class is an achieved status. For example, today you were born poor, but of course you won't die poor, right? Because it's an achieved status. So being rich or poor is an achieved status, okay? But caste ascribed status cannot be changed. This you know, right? Your caste cannot be changed. You were born in a particular caste, you will be a part of that particular class only, caste only. But your achieved status, change that. Your achieved status can be changed, right? For your status from poor to rich can be changed. You can, of course, become poor from rich, being rich, right? So that is this is what ascribed. The main difference between ascribed and achieved status is this. All right. With this, let's just move to the other one. All right. So here, what do we mean by social stratification? What is social stratification? And as I told you in the very beginning of this class, that it is very important to understand social stratification, that the social inequality first, to have an understanding of social stratification. So what does the social stratification mean? Social stratification is a particular form of social inequality. Social stratification is a form of social inequality. So social inequality is a larger umbrella under which social stratification comes. I hope I hope it's all right and there is no confusion regarding this. Right? All right. So all societies arrange their members in terms of superiority, inferiority, equality. Right? This is what any society does. So stratification is a process of interaction of differentiation where some people come to rank higher than the others. So what is stratification here over here? That it is the interaction among people where some people come to be rank higher than the others. Like we all belong to a same society. I belong to you and I belong to a same society. But of course, you are ranked higher than me, right? Even in this interaction, there is some differentiation. So this is what stratification means. And also, let's just have a understanding of what social stratification is, right? So basically this social stratification is your topic from, of course, sociology. So you have to understand it this way only. So basically sociologists, they use this term social stratification to describe the system of social standing, right? So social standing refers to society's categorization of its people onto ranking based on factors such as wealth, income, education, family, background, power, right? So social stratification refers to a society categorization of its people. As I told you, right, that it is the people are categorized, or a society is categorized into rankings based on these factors like wealth, income, power, education, and family background, and all these things, right? So, and not just sociologists, but geologists have also used this word stratification to describe the distinct vertical layers found in this rock, right? So what do they say? That an individual place within this stratification is called its socioeconomic status, right? And you are differentiated on the basis of your socioeconomic status. All right. With this, let's just move forward. So when we are understanding that when and how social stratification occurs, so it is very important for us to understand that when individual and groups are ranked according to some commonly accepted basis of valuation in a hierarchy of status, or there is some socially approved criteria to rank those people or to refer to those people, so then how the social stratification comes into existence. So basically here the levels are based upon the inequality of social position. For example, in a society we can see what should be done by men and what should be done by women, right? So what is this? Basically this is also differentiation among people on a commonly accepted basis of valuation. So there is, of course, we have already valued the worth of a man or worth of a woman, right? And that is how among these commonly accepted bases, they decide and they dictate that the inequality of social positions also. So here, what it is known as role differentiation or the status differentiation among these people. Okay, so I hope it is pretty clear to you that what do we mean by social stratification? What is the meaning of it? So social stratification refers to a society's categorization of its people into groups based on socioeconomic factors such as wealth, income, race, education, ethnicity, gender, social status, or some derived power, be it social or political, right? So as such, stratification is the relative social position of persons within a social group, category, geographical region, or social unit, right? So let's just understand it as that. Here we have understood it, right? That social stratification, let's just take a very more academic definition of it. So what does it mean? That social stratification means division of society into different strata or different layers, right? So member of a particular layer have a common identity. They share a similar lifestyle. So this word lifestyle is very important for understanding of this, because people belonging to a certain level, a certain position, right? They follow a similar lifestyle, right? Kindly do not of course mix this line, or try to make sense of it. I'll help you with it. So here, when I'm saying that social stratification means division of society into different strata or layers, that is quite clear to you. Here's when I'm saying that members of a particular layer have a common identity. They share a similar sort of lifestyle. So for example, I belong to a lower class community, or if I belong to a upper class community. So here people of my community, or people of my of course of the layer which I belong to, of course we'll all have a common identity. For example, here, what is common identity over here? Common identity means, for example, we share a common surname, right? And they have a similar lifestyle. For example, if I am Brahmin, right, and if I am from somebody, if I'm a Shudra, right? So here what I would be doing, or what similarity there would be, that we all coming from, if I belong to a Brahmin community or if I belong to a Shudra community. So here I would be in whatever layer I am belonging to. So here we would have a similar lifestyle in that among those people or those individuals, right? So let's just take a more what should I say, the academic definition of it. So basically, if they ask you in examination, so social stratification means hierarchical arrangement of people within a society, right? So this is a hierarchical arrangement of people within a society, all right? And this process by which individuals are grouped or ranked in as more or less enduring hierarchy of status is known as stratification. So this particular definition is given by Ogburn and Nimkoff, right? They might not ask you in your examination that who gave this definition, but yes, this is important, right? That if you just even understand this academic or this theoretical line, this definition, that it is a hierarchical arrangement of people within a society. All right. with this, let's just move forward. All right. What are the major types of social stratification? Caste, class, estate, and slavery. So these are the major types of social stratification, right? With this, let's just understand each of these social stratification types. So here, when I say that the major types of social stratification are, as I said, this is caste, class, right, estate, and slavery. So first one we are understanding is the caste. Okay, so what is caste? Caste is a hereditary endogamous social group in which each person rank and its accompanying rights and obligation are ascribed on the basis of birth into a particular group. Please write. I'll read this again for you, or I reiterate this for you, that what is caste basically? It is a hereditary endogamous social group in which person's rank and its accompanying rights and obligation are ascribed on the basis of his birth into a particular group. For example, if a let's just with this definition only, if you see, if the birth of a Brahmin, right? So it is accompanied in this hereditary in this Indian caste system, in this triangle, if you see in this pyramid. So you will understand that this particular social group, or if you are born into any of these particular social group, be it Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Dalits, so you'll understand that all a person's rank in the society is decided by this caste system, right? And each of these had its accompanying rights and obligation, right? Because that individual have taken birth into this particular group, right? The Brahmins would have its own rights and obligation comparing to a Vaishya, or comparing to a Shudra with a Dalit, or a Vaishya with a Shudra, right? So, for example, this Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or Dalits, all of these, they for like what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So all of their birth into any of these particular group, or their birth in any of these particular group, have their own uh, rank. There is a ranking based on these their birth in these social groups, and they have accompanying rights and obligation regarding this, the same, right? So I hope you understood social stratification. Here with the first type of social stratification is this caste system. Okay, the Indian caste system is one type of social stratification. Let's just move to the other one, which is the class, right? Which is a stratification on the basis of class, right? So this type of stratification is dominant in the modern society. Our caste system is being going on from ages, okay, but this type of stratification, this one is dominant in the modern society scenario. So in this, a person's position depends to a very great extent upon achievement and its ability to use advantage the inborn characteristics and wealth that he may possess, right? So their societal status is being decided by the amount of achievement they have achieved, right? Or the kind of advantage that they have used with their inborn characteristics of their, for example, their wealth, right? So this has been decided by that. So as I told you in the very beginning of this class, that there are two types of system. Okay, one, as I said, the ascribed status and achieved status. So here you're ascribed, and in the difference between your ascribed status and achieved status, there is also one of the difference, right? That your ascribed status is a closed system. There are two types of systems. Students, please, if you are writing or if you're making notes, kindly take note of this, that there are two types of system. In this social stratification thing, there are two types of system. First one is the closed system, and second one is the open system. So closed system is what? Birth. Your caste system, your caste and your birth, they are the closed system, because once you are born into one particular caste, you cannot change it, right? You cannot permeate out of it. So that is the caste system. Okay, it's in closed system. Caste is your closed system. You cannot change it, okay? And you cannot go out of it. Either you do any amount of hard work or you do anything, okay? You cannot change it. Or but the class system, okay, class is an open system, because of course, if I belong to there are two types of class, example, rich class, poor class, right? Middle class, elite class. So here, of course, a person hailing from a person born into middle class, of course, one day can be a part of the elitist class as well, right? So that is an open system. You can of course go from one place to the other. You can of course achieve, you can step on the ladder, right? Be it with your hard work or be it with enormous amount of wealth, right? So that becomes your open system, right? So I have discussed with you these two systems. This first one is your open system and your other one is your closed system. And you also have example of this. Open system means class system and closed system means your caste system. Okay. So here when we are talking about class particularly as a type of stratification. So here this class system, basically a class system is an open system based on both social factors and an individual's achievement. So here, individuals within a class system are free to gain a different level of education or employment from that of their parents, right? For example, if we talk about class, so if my parents did not have their education, did not take education or anything, so but I have that, I have access to that. So here, with individuals within a class system are free to gain a different level of education or employment from that of their parents and can socialize with and marry members of other classes, right? And of course, they improve their or they can jump off from one status to the other one, right? So this class system has fluid boundaries. Fluid boundaries means you can, of course, permeate. So you must have heard of it, right? From rags to riches. Yeah, that one day you were living on rags and now he's a billionaire. He's quite rich. So such stories, right? Stories of wealthy and powerful people, those who are being brought through low criminal conviction for crimes such as fraud, insider trading, murder, extortion. Such sort of stories we have all heard, right? So that is what a class system is because it's an open system. Here, the boundaries of it are not closed like caste system. Like once you're born into this caste, you'll always your birth and die are associated with that caste only. No, here in this class system, this is permeable. So basically, class is determined by what? Class is determined by wealth, class is determined by income, and it is considered as an achieved status. All right, it is considered as in what status? Achieved status. Class is an achieved status and not an ascribed status like caste. Okay, one which is earned, right? So here, wealth is what? Wealth refers to your total value of money, your assets, property, stocks, whereas income refers to the money that a person earns over here, right? So here, Max Weber is one of a great sociologists. So what he had done is he has also identified three components in this entire class system also, which we are right now discussing. So what he says is that this class system is also defined into three, is also, of course, it is classified into three, or there are three components of class system of stratification as well. So the first one over here is class. Second is status, and third one is power. So class, as he says, so he says that it includes wealth, income. Status means your prestige, your honor that is accorded to one's position or one's name, right? And if we talk about prestige, so power is the ability to, of course, exert one's will over the others, right? So this is what he talks about. So who have given please write it if you're writing it somewhere, that Max Weber is the one who has classified this class system of stratification. And he had classified it into three, or he has shared three components of class, which are what? Your caste, your class, your status, and your prestige. Your class, status, and power, sorry, not prestige. Okay. All right. So class, status, and power are three things that are defined in this. Sorry, are classified by Max Weber. And now, when we are discussing the other one, which is of course, your estate system, right? So what is this estate system is about? I have written this, and through this picture also, you can also understand. So let's just understand what is this estate system is. So estate system of medieval Europe provides another system of stratification, which gives much emphasis on birth as well as to wealth and position. So here in the caste system, what is associated? Caste system, in your caste system, much emphasis is only given to your caste, your birth. But in the class system, what happens? Much emphasis is given to your wealth, your possessions, right? But in this estate system, emphasis given to both, be it your birth or be it your wealth and position. So what happened is that in the 9th century, this 9th century gave rise to feudal societies. Feudal societies, you know, right? That these societies had a very strict feudal society, are the one which relies on, or which was based on the land system. Okay, that there used to be a person used to have his land and then he used to give to peasants, right? And the peasants used to give something in return. So basically, these societies, feudal societies, what they did, they contained a strict hierarchical system of power based on land ownership and protection, right? So the nobility over here, they were known as lords, right? And what they did is, for example, here in our Jemidari system, what happens is somebody who has land and then he gives it to people, the peasants, the workers over there, and then in return of that, in on for working on their land, they give him some amount of return. Of course, a certain amount is given to the zamidar in terms of on for using his land and as a protection as well. So here in this estate system, the same used to happen. The nobility, who are also known as lords, vassals, right? So sorry, lords, right? So what they used to do is they used to place vassals, right, in charge of pieces of land called fiefdoms. So what used to happen is, here what I am calling peasants or something, they were called in that time, they were called vassals. Okay, and they used to give them, of course, the certain amount of money for using the lord's land and the money for protection as well. So what used to happen is, in return for all using the resources that the land provided and the guaranteed place to live also, because that lord also used to give a guaranteed place to live for them as well. So vassals used to promise them to fight for their lords, right? Here you can see, right? So what the vessel used to do, or in the vessel, which is of course the peasant or worker who is working on the land of the lord, right? So in return for the resources that the land that the land they were using, so this provided and guaranteed, of course, because those vessels were using the land of lords. So in return for those resources that the land provided and a guaranteed place to live, the vessels also promised the lord that they will fight for the lord and give him protection. Okay, so basically here this entire estate system and everything, so this is characterized, or this is highlighted by feudalism, right? Feudalism, that system of land and everything that I just shared with you. So this feudalism also was a closed system where land ownership was inherited, and the peasants, those who worked over there, the land served the who worked the land, they served the Lord for generations to generation, as the state system hierarchy was automatically reproduced at birth. Right? I hope you understand this. Here, there is double oppression, that it's not just decided by your birth. Okay. Here you have possessions as well. Yeah, you have, of course, it is decided by your class as well. So now you understood that in this system, there is this double oppression, because you see that the lord, right, the lord is there and then the vessel is there. Lord has already provided the vessel his land, right, and vessel, of course. So here in this system, even if the lord would have the kids, right, or the further generations also, so they will also be defined by that only, right, because already vessels and their children are also, their children will also work, and automatically this system hierarchy was automatically reproduced at birth. So like slavery in the US, okay, a person's birth determined his or her social standing in the estate system. So this meant that a person could be born a peasant, a commoner, or with access to more property and an opportunity. So such as a member of the clergy or the nobility might have. Right. So here, this justification for this rigid hierarchy and everything was often based on certain religious beliefs, especially that of the divine right, or the idea that some men rule by God's will. Okay. So this used to be as a, these are the characteristics of the estate system. So, but ultimately, the social and economic system of feudalism failed after some time, and this system was replaced by capitalism, in which we are living today, and the technological advances of the industrial area. So post your in your 17, 18, 19th century. So these are the phases of industrialization, right? These are the era of industrialization, and now this era of feudalism are being totally replaced by capitalism. Okay, so here I hope it is quite clear to you that in these system, two major states existed: the landed gentry, or the nobility, and the peasantry or serf. So the landed gentry owned huge expanses of land on which serfs toiled. So I hope this system of estate is quite clear to you, that this is also, feudalism is also a closed system, right? Feudalism is also a closed system, and here somebody who had the land was called the lord, and the one who used to work for that lord, they worked on their land because of course they were given that land to use. So they promised the king or the lord protection, right? And that's how by generation after generation the system used to go on, right? With this, let's just move to the other one, which is your slavery. So what is this slavery is about? Slavery, so we have all heard, right, that slavery had this economic basis, right? In slavery, every slave had his master to whom he was subjected. That is what slavery is about, right? So the master's power over the slave was unlimited. So I hope these three systems of or these types of social stratification are understood by you people. All right. With this, as I told you that initially only that there are two types of system, the open system and the closed system, right? So here we'll try to understand again with the help of examples also that what are the two types of social stratification system. So first one I said is the closed system. So in this system, an individual position is largely ascribed, right? Caste is an ascribed system. Often it is fixed at birth, and therefore he or she cannot do any changes in their status. Okay. So example, caste system, individual automatically belong to the caste of their parents, except in rare instances, spend the rest of their life in that status. Okay. That is ascribed status. All right. Okay. And even if you, yes, that in this caste system, you cannot change your, what do we call as your, you automatically starts belonging to that particular caste. Okay. And you cannot do much about it. Yes, coming to the open system, what is this open system is about? So in an open system, status is achieved and the individual has some chances of changing their position. This we have already discussed, that with hard work, talent, and meritocracy, all these things are you can change your position. So movement from one status to another has no barrier, and this is fluid. Okay. The boundaries of the this open system or this type of system is fluid. Status is based on achievement, right? So example, class system. Social mobility is possible, and some people will be upwardly mobile and improve their position through talent, hard work, meritocracy, right? For example, black capitalism in USA. Here you see that in the state system, your blacks were the only people, those who were enslaved by the whites, right? But now today you see blacks are the ones, those who are running big organization, and they are quite more successful, and they have a better class than many of the whites, right? So here, this is the open system, one example of the open system. All right. So now we are at the end of the questions, and we always discuss questions. So let's just come to the first one. So birth is a dash type of stratification. Please tell me, students, is it the social, cultural, individual, or biological? Birth is a biological type of stratification, and it is not a social type of stratification. Who all think I am wrong? Yes. So answer would be biological over here. Kindly do not mark social type of stratification and then calling it the caste system of stratification, because there are some question or is a thing that the examiner might try to trick you, because birth only does not defines, for example, for the class system, birth is not a type of stratification, right? So here, if they talk about any particular system, or they talk about open system, caste system, then only birth is a type of social stratification, or birth is the genesis for this social stratification. But here in this question, birth is a biological type of stratification. Okay. All right. Let's just move to the other one. With which form of social stratification is style of life associated? Yes. I hope you will be able to mark the answer right, because we have already discussed style of life. That when you start belonging to a particular layer, then you follow a particular sort of lifestyle. The lifestyle is associated with it, or you particularly have a common identity, for example, surname. Let me just take you back over here, right? Here, when I said social stratification means division of society into different strata or layers, and the members of a particular layer have a common identity. They have a similar lifestyle. So here we are talking about which one? So here we are talking about, kindly, I need, I think, of course, we are not in an open poll or something, but yes, I believe you guys are marking the answer right. Yes, class is your answer. Class is your answer. I'm really sorry about that. With which form of social stratification is style of life associated? It is a class system. All right. Okay. Because yeah, here the style of life, it is because this type of social stratification, your class of life is associated, because with this you can, of course, this is changeable, right? The class has a fluid boundaries, and with which style of life is associated, your lifestyle is associated, right? All right, so the answer is first one, class. Okay, second one is the study of structure of layers in society is called, it is what? We have just went back to our the definition of social stratification. Let me take you back again to the, so that you by heart it and just remember it for all your life. And if you understand it, then it would be great. So your social stratification means division of society into different strata or layers, right? So here the answer goes social stratification, right? So social stratification, what? It is the study of structure of layers in society. All right. Here, I've not given you the definition. I'm really sorry, students, but I'm picking up this question, and I have given you this question. So let me answer this for you. Who has given functional theory of social stratification? I'll give the answer for you. And now many of you must be thinking, what is this functional theory? So functional theorists are those people, or this school of thought, or this functional theory. What it is about? So basically in sociology, in the discipline of sociology, functional theory is considered to be, it is understood in terms of, for example, an organism. Okay, let's just take, for example, an organism, how they try to understand, functional theorists, how they try to understand society, how they view society. For example, let's just take example of a body. Okay, so here a body is made up of what? It is made up of different organs. Each organ has a different role to play, and in that way, when each organ has a different role to play, then it makes an entire body, right? Where everything has its own function, where everything, my head cannot question, right, why I'm on top, and my legs cannot question that why I am on, why I am called feet, why I am touched to the ground, right? So here this functional theory says that they view society as an organ, this as a body, right? Where they say that each aspect or each person in a society is like an organ, which is playing their own roles, is playing their own responsibility, right? So that is how functional theory is understood. So, and this is given by whom? This is given by Kingsley Davis and Moore, and they are very, very, very important for your examination point of view, because Kingsley Davis and Moore are those people, those who wrote the functional theory of social stratification, and they are the people, those who have worked extensively on social stratification. All right, let's just come to the other one. As I said in the very beginning of this class, that the very, very oldest system of social stratification, or oldest surviving system of social stratification is, please go through the options and then answer it. Okay, first one is caste, slavery, class, and estate. So you know, caste is a form of social stratification. It's about achieved state, ascribed status. Okay. Slavery is, but then it got abolished, right? Class, no. It is many places where it's not surviving. Estate, no. Caste is the oldest form of surviving social stratification. All right, where people are still discriminated, or where people are still classified or still ranked higher or lower on the basis of the socially approved criteria, or the basis of socially marked rank. Okay, social characteristics. Okay, with this, caste forms your oldest type of social stratification. And with this, we end today's class, and I hope it was helpful to you, and you will be able to clear this. If any, you of course eliminate the wrong answer or wrong choice from your questions, right? And mark the right ones. With this, we end today's class, and thank you so much. We'll see you in another class. Thank you, students.